We can get started. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here today, mainly because one of my favorite people on the planet is Melly Bonita. And there's nothing I love more than connecting someone I love with other girls that I love. And you don't even know the gem that this woman is to me. I adore her. We've gotten to know each other through different directors retreats and glam getaways, and she knows all about the Smith family and the craziness of the Smith family, and she's just one of my dearest and most favorite people. So Melly, welcome, and introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, where you're from, how long you've been with Stella, all the good stuff.
Thank you, Callie. I adore you too. My name is Melly, and I am an associate director, and I'm born and raised in New York, and I live right outside of the city in Connecticut. So I live in the suburbs of New York, and I say that so much because I'm like very passionate about where I'm from, and Callie knows that because she came to visit in New York one time, and we had a fun night out. So
she's all you want to know if you go to New York.
I have three little girls, 12, 8, and 10, and I've just a really busy life, and I work Stella&Dot in the midst of craziness, just like the rest of us. So I love the topic that I'm talking about because I feel really strongly about making the best use of my time, and I find that the trunk show is like where I can get everything done and checked off my list that I need to get done for my Stella&Dot business. So I'm excited to talk about that.
So you've been a stylist for how long?
7.5 years.
And what roughly on average, what do you generally sell per month?
I never sell less than 5,000. It's like my personal goal. I have not sold less than 5,000 in any month in like the last 3 years. So I always aim for 5,000, and my trunk show average is $14.92. So.
Stop. I mean, that's just incredible, which is exactly why we're talking to you about this. And how many trunk shows are you typically having a month?
I try to do no less than 4. So I aim for 4 so that I know that I'll have like at least around 4,000 in sales from the trunk shows, and then I get the rest from online orders and Facebook posts and things like that.
So you're doing majority in-person trunk shows, not online trunk shows?
Yeah, I really rarely ever do online trunk shows.
Okay, perfect.
I don't even really know how to do them that well.
And okay, so I'm just always in awe of you and everything that you do. And I know that you don't always do all your trunk shows in your backyard. I mean, you go into the city for trunk shows. You'll travel for a trunk show.
Yeah.
Correct?
I will travel, an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours for a trunk show if I have to, just because I feel like I said earlier, the trunk show is not just for sales for me, and it shouldn't be for anybody. It's really to expand my network and to meet new people to book with and to sponsor with. And I'm willing to go far if I know that I'm going to be able to sponsor somebody there and then basically turn over any other trunk shows that get booked in that area to her. So that's kind of how I look at it. If I have a trunk show that's booked far away, I play this mind game with myself, and I'm like, I will sponsor somebody here because I don't want to drive back here that many more times.
Okay, perfect. So, all right. So let's talk about hostess coaching. First, what is hostess coaching and why is it that big of a deal?
So to me, hostess coaching means engaging with your hostess, becoming like friends with her from the moment you book her trunk show to like the day that you have it, and getting her just excited about the trunk show as you are. Like I want her counting down the days, being super psyched, circling and marking up the lookbook of everything that she's going to get for free. But most importantly, I want her texting and inviting everybody she knows. So it's just the idea of like she's so excited that she wants to spread it out and invite as many people as possible. And I look at my hostess as like my partner in this. Like she doesn't know she's my partner in this, but she's my partner in this.
Okay, so you are, you're talking to her often. Are you always texting her? Are you calling her?
I do a lot over text and email or Facebook Messenger. That's just the reality of it. And I do have, when I talk about my system, I'll talk about like how many touch points I have with the hostess.
Okay, let's get into that. So we know why you do hostess coaching, because I feel like this is a really easy thing to skip. Hostess coaching is something that you can be like, okay, book the trunk show, check, moving on. You know, okay, I set up the invitation and now I don't know what to do. It's kind of awkward. Am I supposed to talk to her? Do I talk to her? Because you may or may not know this person very well. At the beginning of your business, you know them really well, but then you may not at all. So can you walk us through what you actually do? Because I feel like that's where people they're like, well, I don't know what to do. They're like, it's like an awkward first date.
It is. And let me just say that and I would write this down. If you skip hostess coaching, your trunk show will suck. I really believe that. I feel like why even show up? If you didn't hostess coach her, don't even show up. Because what will end up happening is it will be super awkward. It'll be like, hi, oh yeah, I haven't seen you since a month ago when I met you at that other trunk. I try to avoid any awkward feeling possible because that's just uncomfortable. So it'll be awkward because you haven't talked to her. It'll be super awkward because there'll be 2 people there instead of 10 because you didn't coach her to invite enough people. So just remember, if you don't hostess coach, your trunk show will suck. So this is my system. So
it's true.
Yeah, it's true. So once I booked the trunk show,
are you there? Chelsea, can you hear me? Okay, Melly, you there?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Once you book the trunk show.
So once I book the trunk show in the system, I send her.
Oh no, is it me? Okay, Melly, we can't hear you. And we're dying. We're this is the best part. Melly, you there? Okay, hold on. Let me text her. Melly. Oh wait, is she back? You're frozen. Can y'all hear me? Chelsea's yes, I can hear you. Okay. Hold on. She might get off and come back in again. Yep. Okay, she's gonna dial back in. I mean, but come on. She doesn't sell less than $5,000. That's her minimum every month. What in the world? I'm taking notes. Your trunk show will suck if you do not do hostess coaching. It's going to suck. That's why I love her, because she'll just straight up tell you. But I know she has a system, and she's going to walk us through her steps of exactly what she does with hostess coaching, and then kind of what happens when she gets there. So I'm sure she's dialing back in. Should I do a song and dance? Do you guys like my background of my room that I'm living in at my in-laws' house? Okay. Hi, Melly Bonita. Who is VME? I don't know who VME is. I'm trying to think.
Oh, it's me.
Who's me? Did someone say it's me?
Oh, it's Rivers.
Hi, Rivers. I was who's?
And I'm on my work computer, so I don't know why it doesn't post my picture, but it's my work ID.
Oh, VME. I'm who's VME?
I know. Who's this weird person?
Okay. I would imagine that Melly is going, bless her heart, she's probably totally stressed. What, it's all this pressure when you're on. And this happened to me the other day, and I actually had to call on my phone and my computer. It was just a nightmare. So technology is great when it's great, and it sucks when it sucks. Kind of like hostess coaching. It's great when it's great, and it sucks when it sucks. So everyone having a good day? Okay, good. Y'all are all muted. Chelsea's totally muted.
Oh,
now,
maybe this is it. Oh, there we go.
There you are, Rivers. Look at your
Figured it out.
You and your top knot bun. Is that like a bun situation?
Oh yeah. It's one of those, have you gotten like, it's like makes the bun for you. It's like a little circle piece, like donut.
Amazing.
I know, it's great.
Those are the
Especially
greatest
when I
thing
don't
ever.
wash
And
my
you have
hair.
long hair.
It's incredible.
It's fantastic. Actually, Amanda taught me how to do it.
Okay, she said her Wi-Fi crashed. Give me a second. She's logging on to her from her phone.
Oh, there she is.
Hi, friends.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh, you're totally fine.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm on through my phone now. My Wi-Fi, it's raining really hard here, and I live where there's a lot of trees, and I think the Wi-Fi just went down in my house.
It's
So
totally fine. We do not hate you. We love you.
is everybody still there, or did we lose everybody?
No, I was stalling very well.
Okay, good. All right, so back to my system.
Okay.
So I sent, as soon as I booked the trunk show in my system, I send her an email. I still email people, and especially when it's like a lot of information, I need to email her. And then I'll shoot her a text and say, hey, just check your email. I just sent you some easy next steps for your trunk show. So in that email, the subject of my email is your save the date and easy next steps. And I can share all of this with you. I have a template that I've been using for years, and I just kind of revamp it once in a while. But it basically says, hey, Kathy, I'm super excited for your trunk show on September 27th. I've created a save the date for you below. Here are some easy next steps. And the first bullet is, let's think about your guest list. We want to invite no less than 40 people so that we get the average turnout of about 10 to 12 people. And then the next line says, I know what you're thinking. You don't know 40 people. Trust me, you do. Let me help you brainstorm. Just think about 4 different social circles of your life, 10 people from each social circle. There you have 40 people. And then I let her know that I'm going to be mailing her a hostess package with some lookbooks and some paper invitations that she can hand out to friends. And then I ask her to please either email or text out the save the date below and copy me on it, because 2 weeks before the trunk show, I'm going to take care of sending out an official invitation for her trunk show. So that's been my system for years. Now that we have moved away from using an email invitation system, I personally use eBite. If this was a home office call, I might not say that because they want us to use Mimi. You can use Mimi if your hostess is somebody who wants to text, but I usually ask my hostess, what's your preferred method to invite people? Is it email, text, Facebook message, or Facebook invitation? And I kind of let her lead the way, but I prefer to use a system that is going to allow me to control the invitation, track it, and send out messages through the invitation. That is why I choose eBite. Yeah, you do that too. So then I send her that, and I'm going to be mailing out her a package. So I asked her to send out that save the date like ASAP. As soon as she gets it, send it out, copy me on it. Once she's copied me on it, now I have the emails of everybody that she's going to invite, and I file that away in my computer in a little folder that I call hostess emails. Then I make sure my goal during the time between when I've booked the trunk show and when the trunk show takes place is to keep in touch with her several times. So I call them touch points. So the first touch point after the initial email is the hostess package. So I send her a hostess package, and a couple of days after I've sent it out, I'll say, hey, check your mail in a couple of days. You're going to be getting an awesome package from me with some lookbooks and some invitations. You know, the lookbook is for you to make a list of everything you're going to get for free. I'm so excited. Like, let me know what you like the most. I can't wait to hear. And I'll make sure you wear it that night or something. I always try to reach out via text just to kind of keep her excitement going. Then once I send out her invitation, I keep her in the loop of the RSVPs. So I'll check the eVite every once in a while and see where the RSVPs are. and I'll let her know, hey, RSVPs are looking great. I always say they're looking great, even if only like 2 people have responded, because I never want her to have like hostess anxiety and be like, oh my God, only 2 people. Even though when I see that, I'm like, oh no, okay, we got to triage this. Like, we got to fix this. So I will say, your RSVPs are looking great. Hey, and if you want to get a couple more people, here's a link to the Evite that you can also text out to people in case you don't have their emails, or why don't you send it to a couple of Facebook friends. And I also included some paper invites in your hostess package if you want to mail those out. Pass those out. So I'm always kind of giving her different options and ways to invite people so that we're boosting those RSVPs. And then the week of the trunk show, on that Monday, I always text her and say, hey, RSVPs are looking great. Let's send out one final reminder today, and I'll this week, and I'll create like a little image for her that says the wine is chilling. See you on Thursday. And I will ask her to send out that text message. And then I kind of also let her know I'll be there around 6:30 to set up. Don't, keep the food and drinks really light and simple. Like, you don't even need plates. Cheese and crackers and wine. Don't spend a lot of money on food because people don't eat it anyway. I always say that. So that's like my little system leading up to her. So I've talked to her. By the time I see her at her show, I've talked to her like 4 or 5 times. Is that helpful?
Yeah, I love it. I do same thing. I use Evite, but we typically use the Evite app and text, which you can do all the same functionality of email. And so even if your hostess is like, I want to text, still use the Evite app, you guys, because it allows you to have contact with those people. Because if she starts her own text, which is like what Melly's saying, she texts her own text thread, you're not on that thread and you have no idea how to contact people. And so through the Evite app, they can do Facebook, email, text message, Facebook Messenger. So fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing I do is if I see that it's like a week before or 5 days before and the RSVPs are not really where I want them to be, I will go into the Evite and send out a message to all of the guests. And I will say, hey guys, just wanted to introduce myself. I'm the stylist for Amy's Trunk Show. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there. If you haven't already RSVP'd, please do, so we get a sense of head count. And I can't wait to see you and style all of you. And then I provide the link to if you can't make it, you can always shop online. Every time I send that out, I get a bunch more RSVPs that kind of flow in right after that communication goes out. So don't be afraid. Don't think that you're being annoying. Like, people get so much stuff on their phone. They probably just missed it the first time. The other thing I know for a fact about electronic invitations is that most people do not reply on the first touch. They usually reply after the reminder goes out. Yeah. And that's another reason why I like to use a trackable system like Evite.
Yeah, and you can edit the Evite, the notifications, the reminders on Evite, and I always edit it to 2 reminders. I do one 5 days before the show, and I do another one 2 days before the show. I think the automatic with Evite is the day before the show.
It's the day before, yeah.
I go and edit that, and I edit like a 5-day one and then a 1 or 2 day one.
Yeah.
So Melly, tell me what you say to someone. So you've sent the hostess email. Do you send the email through the lounge, the one that it says like send the hostess welcome email?
It depends. If they've hosted before, then I don't. But sometimes I do, because I kind of read the hostess and how like proactive she is. Some people are like, I got an email, but I don't really know what that's about. I mean, It can't hurt, and it's automatically checked off. So like, let it go out. But yeah.
Always follow up with a personal one.
Yeah. Exactly.
And what do you do when the hostess is like, okay, I'm so excited, I sent out my invitations, and you get the Evite list and there's like 10 people. Is that, and I know that you said in your original email, so she already got the instruction, let's invite 40, and she just kind of disregarded that and she invited 10. Is that then a text? Is that a phone call? And how do you phrase it to where you're not sounding bossy, but
yeah.
Okay.
So I will let her know. I'll say, like, first of all, my personal thing is I never allow a hostess to invite less than 40, ever. Like it's not happening on my watch. So, because like I said earlier, like I need to make the most of my time, and this cannot be a waste of time for me. So I'll if I see that she invited like 13 people, I'll text her and say, hey, awesome job, sending out the first batch of invites, exactly. And then I'll just say like, hey, just a reminder, in order to get the normal turnout of like 8 to 12 people, we need to invite way more than that. So why don't we brainstorm some other people? You do have some friends or neighbors or school moms. Like you don't really need to know everybody super well, but it's best to cast a wide net. So I kind of phrase it that way.
I like that term.
Yeah. Or I'll say like, and if they're like, oh, well, I don't want to invite those people because they don't really know the other people. And I always tell people, I always err on the side of inclusion because you never want to leave anybody out of like a fun girls shopping night. So I will like not let that go down.
Yeah, I also love to tell people, like, I can't remember the last time somebody was offended by getting an invitation. Most of the time they're offended because they were left out of the invitation.
Exactly. And then some people are like, oh my God, if I don't have room for 40 people in my house, if I invite 40 people, and I always joke around and I say, if 40 people show up to your trunk show, I will pay you. Like, that's never going to happen. Like, I wish 40 people would show up, but that's never going to happen.
Okay, so I love what you said there, that and I can tell, because I know you, that you actually kind of like add some humor into it, which I think always de-escalates the fear that the hostess is having. And I always feel like if somebody tells me, well, I only know 10 people, I'm like, girl, come on. That is not even possible. Like, I saw you talking to people the other day. I saw you in that picture on Facebook with all your friends. But adding in some humor is a way to kind of like take their walls down a little bit. And Jody Brocker does the same thing when we were talking about checkout chat. She uses humor to bring that down. So how do you infuse your personality in hostess coaching? And do you think that helps?
Oh, it totally helps. I rely on it. I don't even know how not to be me. So that's like a hard question because I feel like I'm just naturally trying to be friendly and I'm always very conscious to not make people feel scared or uncomfortable. So if she's like, I want to do it, but I feel like I don't know 40 people, I let her know, look, I will help you brainstorm 40 people and I will come no matter what. But let's just give it all we've got. Like, what do we have to lose? So I always just try to be. I was going to say, the way that I act with my girlfriends is the way that I act with these people. Like I'm not trying to be all like buttoned up like I'm at a board meeting. Like I'm just trying to be like the cool chick that you want to come over to style your trunk show.
But I love that you're not just saying, okay, because you're afraid of like offending her or something, because in your mind, I mean, this is a job. Like you want this to be successful for you and also her. And so you're not going to allow her to just like settle for less than what you know that she's capable of.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I always
like,
use that.
You're not just like, okay, well, let's just.
Yeah. Oh no. And I think that's come over time. In the beginning, I used to be like, okay, yeah, you don't know anybody. Okay, move on to the next one. But now it's been so many years that I've gotten more comfortable with it. And I've realized that it's really just fear. Like, what's the worst case? And then if you do try to push her a little and she still says no, then that's the worst of it. Like you got a firm, no, I don't want to do this anymore. But I try to use that feel, felt, found method. Like, I know how you feel, like that you think you don't have any friends. I felt that way too. But what I found is that like, if you just brainstorm the different areas of your life, like school, the gym, your church, your yoga class, or your job, you probably know 10 people from each of those places, and we can get it to 40. It doesn't have to be your BFS. Like, yeah, you probably only have like 5 great friends. That's awesome. But we're talking about like everybody here. We want to invite like every woman we know. Hold on, let me turn on my charger. Okay, sorry.
There you go. So, okay, I love that. Awesome tips. Tell me what you do. Have you had a hostess before with maybe they've invited 40 people, you've coached them that, and they have like 4 people coming, and they are like, can we move it to an online show? And
I hate that, but yes, I've had that happen.
Okay. And so how do you coach that? What do you say to them?
So I'm very honest with them because, like I said earlier, I am not the online trunk show guru. I don't enjoy doing online shows, and as a result, my online shows are just not as successful. And I personally find them to be more work for both me and the hostess, because the hostess literally has to be there, like messaging friends and kind of like tagging them in all of the posts. So I'll say to her, okay, we can do that if you want, but let me just tell you the reality of what that looks like. It's a little bit more work for you. It's a lot more work for me. And the rewards, what it yields is a lot less. So even if you only have 4 people coming to your trunk show, I think we'll actually have more success with four live people at your house than online. And that's just from my experience. And when I say like from my experience, they're like, oh, well, she's the pro, so she must know what she's talking about. So I always kind of try to, I rather actually change the date of the trunk show to be another in-home date than to turn it into an online show.
Yeah, I love that. I've also heard people say before that they're like, okay, well, we can set up like an online event for the same time as your in-person one, and let's go live from your trunk show
Exactly.
on Facebook with the 4 people that are there. But what I keep hearing from you is that you are just confident in what you're doing. You know that if they'll do what you're asking them to do, then their trunk show will be successful. And you're also confident in what you're bringing. You're like, hey, listen, you're going to get me. I'm going to get there. It's going to be so much fun. And you're going to want your friend. They're going to be sad they missed out. And so
Yeah.
I think that your hostesses respond to your confidence. If you are a lot more meek and shy, and then that's what they're going to be. So I think that
honestly, they're looking at you as the expert. No matter how long you've been doing this, they don't know. They are just looking and they're looking for guidance and leadership. Like, okay, we booked this, so now what? I don't know what I'm doing. I've never had one of these parties at my house. What do I do? So it's actually it is your duty to like guide her along the way and hold her hand so that the day of the show she feels super prepared and confident. And whether her friends shop or not, that's another thing I tell hostesses all the time. They're like, I'm just worried that nobody's going to buy anything. And I always tell her, that is not your problem. You do not have to worry about that. That is all on me. So if they don't shop, like that's my job to sell to them. And I'm not a pushy salesperson. They're just going to love what they see and they're going to buy it. But you don't have to worry about that. You just buy the food and the drinks. So that's the other thing that I share a lot. And like I said, they're looking for you for guidance. It would actually be worse. Like if you're avoiding hostess coaching, think about how that looks to the hostess from her end. Like I booked a trunk show with this girl and like I haven't heard from her and now she's coming to my house and I really don't even know her. Yeah. Then you're like a total stranger showing up at her house.
Which is worse.
Yeah, way awkward. That's the thing that I try to avoid at all times is the awkwardness.
Yeah, absolutely. And okay, so gosh, this is so good. Okay, I want to move on to like actually working towards the purple dot, like which is $1,000. We heard Melly say that her average is well above that. But before we do, does anyone have questions about hostess coaching that you want to ask before we move on to purple dot information? You have to unmute yourself if you're muted. Or you can type it out in the chat if you would rather type it out in the chat. At the bottom of your screen, you'll see a chat button. But if you have questions about hostess coaching, speak up or type it out. Or y'all, I tagged Melly. She's in our team page, and y'all can question there. Okay. Anyone? She's pretty thorough. Okay. So moving on. Purple dot. So now you're at the trunk show. You are setting up. Your hostess is there. You've done a kick-ass job of hostess coaching. How are you so consistently getting over $1,000 trunk shows?
Sorry, I'm joining back from my computer now. Hold on. All right, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yay. Yep, I can hear you.
My internet came back on.
Yay. Okay.
So, well, the first step is invite no less than 40 ever. Like, that's the other thing. Tattoo that on your arm. Like, no hostess coaching, your trunk show will suck. Invite no less than 40 ever. And I really have found that is how you get attendance at 10 to 12 people, or sometimes even more. So make sure, the other thing is make sure that in addition to the whatever invitation system you're using, your hostess is sending out at least one personal reminder the week of the trunk show that comes from her. Okay. So I usually create a cute little image in Mimi. I pick like a random image that has no text on it, and I just say, you know, the wine is chilling, see you tonight, or see you tomorrow, or see you Thursday. I send it to her and I say, hey, here's this cute little, and I put like her name on it, like XO Amy. I think people love to see like that you personalize something with their name on it. And I text that to her and I ask her to send this out to your friends at some point this week, just to remind them. And the reminder is key that comes from her. And then at the show, so like now I'm in, it's game time. Like I'm at the show, I'm here to like make this be $1,000 no matter what. Group hello. That is like, there will be times where I'm like, I don't know if a group hello is really going to happen at this show. The dynamic is a little weird. Like they won't get away from the food. Like, how am I going to do this? And I always tap the hostess on, first of all, when I'm setting up, I let the hostess know, hey, when most of your friends are here, I'm going to do like a 5 to 7 minute little introduction about the collection. So I'll come and let you know, but like when you think most of the people are here, just let me know. She never does. She'll like always forget to let you know, and she'll keep chatting with her friends. But I am like there to work. So I'm looking around the room. All right, there's like 6, 7 people here. This is a good time. Do not wait for everybody to come. Like there's always a straggler. There's always that girl that's like, it's so late. And you're like, no. So I tap the hostess and I'm like, hey, this is a good time to do the group hello. And she'll be like, I know, but I'm waiting on like 2 more people. And I say, don't worry, let's not wait for them. I'll give them their own little private thing when they come. So now and then I say, can you just make an announcement and gather everybody around, because they don't really know who I am. So she'll like, you know, do like with her wine glass or something and call everybody over. And that's when I do my group hello. And I talk about, you know, the collection, about if you love everything, but you feel like you're not gonna, you know, your husband's gonna kill you spend $300 here tonight. Well, $300 is on average what our hostesses get at trunk shows. So if you know, want so many things, but you don't want to pay all that tonight, don't worry, buy something tonight and let's book a trunk show for you at your house. Then I'll talk about, you know, if you're looking at what I do and you feel like this looks like fun, which it is, I get to drink wine on Wednesday nights and hang out with ladies, let me know, because we're always looking for stylists, especially in this area. I always say that, like, especially in this area, it kind of gives them the sense that like, there's not a lot of people who do this here. Maybe I could do, and where I live, that's actually very true. So in the whole like New York tri-state area. So I always say that. And then I'll quickly say like, and you know, as you're shopping, I'll come around and I'll help you get styled, but we have tons of specials too when you spend over 50. So I'll come and show you what those things are. So I kind of plant the seed like, oh, if you spend more than $50, you get access to some really cool discounts. So that's the group hello. And then during the styling, I start like, you know, observing people, what they're looking at, and they pick something up, and I always find some kind of comment to make about it. And I'm like, oh, that looks so good with like a gray sweater, or that piece was actually designed by, it was cast with a mold of our designer's grandmother's lace, and it has such a beautiful story to it. Like I will find some way to make a conversation with the customer that is not salesy. Like, oh, do you like that? Do you want to check out? Like that all feels super yuck. But like you're making a conversation, or you're like, oh, that looks so good with your hair color. Why don't you try it on? Compliment her, engage her. And this stuff is sort of hard to teach because it's also part personality, but it really is like, think about how you like to be approached in a store. You know, like if you're in a store, if you're at whatever Loft or Black and White, you know, it's like if you're looking at something and the girl comes over and is like, oh, can I start a fitting room for you? Or if she says like, that would look so cute with the jeans you have on. It's so much more like friendly versus like, you know, oh, everything is 40% off today. And she just walks away. You know, like I feel like which one of the two feels better? So I kind of try to make comments like that. Or I'll say, oh, that looks really good with these earrings. So now I'm already like planting the seed of like, you should buy more than one thing. Or if she's trying on a bracelet, I'll be like, I love that bracelet. And when I wear it, I always stack it with this one because I love how they look together. So in my mind, I'm trying to make the order bigger already. And then, of course, I mean, I have many customers who are like, I'll just have the sparkle studs and it's $24 and bye-bye. But my average order is like over $100. And I think because of the way that I'm styling them with like, you know, personable comments and compliments and things like that. And then once you're over the $50 mark, every single customer, I don't care if she's like, I'm done. I'm cut me off. Like I can't buy anything else. I was like, I know you said you didn't want to buy anything else, but it is my responsibility to tell you that we have these amazing things at 50% off when you spend over 50. And then I'll be like, they're good to have as gifts, you know, even if you don't really need it for yourself. Most of the time they say yes. I feel like 8 out of 10 people do a trunk show exclusive. And then sometimes they're like, no, I'm done. Like I can't buy anything else. And I'm like, all right, no problem. And then the other thing is I treat everybody exactly the same. Like if you spent $24 or if you bought the Pegasus, I will be like, thank you so much for shopping with me. It was so fun to style you. So that's how I get the trunk show over $1,000.
Oh, wow. You guys, so good. Okay. I always love when I'm listening to someone to pick up on the little nuggets. Like you said, you know, I always like to err on the side of inclusion. Like I love that little tagline. And I love saying, you know, it's my responsibility to tell you, or it would be irresponsible of me.
Almost like a joke. Like she knows that you're trying to upsell her, but it's like it's funny, you know?
Right. Yeah. And again, your personality just kind of coming through, being confident and what you're offering to them. And I love that you're not getting, because sometimes I feel like in a group hello, if you try to throw in Style Club and Trunk Show exclusives, and you're getting lost. And so what you're focusing on in your group hello is how they can book. Like if you love everything and you want to book, you also talk about needing stylists in the area. And you're not getting like overwhelmed in a group hello with talking about all the specials and holding up every trunk show exclusive and looking like a freak show running all over the room. Instead, you're just, you know, composed, welcoming everybody, introducing yourself, talking about how you know the hostess, and telling them how they can shop, and not getting overwhelmed, and instead saying, if you spend $50, there's going to be some things you're going to get for half off, and we'll talk about that at checkout.
Right.
So that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Correct?
That's exactly how I do it. And I have found on the few occasions where I have not done a group hello for whatever reason, the trunk show suffers for it. I really feel that if you don't do a group hello, you are leaving money on the table. Like you really are. So,
go ahead.
So I said I will like badger the hostess until I'm like, and it's funny because she's like, good, I don't have to talk. She'll let her do the talking. She doesn't care as long as she doesn't have to do it.
Right, exactly. But you feel like you're really start making that connection with people. So you've kind of broken the ice with a group hello. Because if not, then people are like, who are you? Like, do you know the hostess person?
Exactly.
You always have to like break the ice.
The other couple of things I will say about the group hello is that it also for me is like the official kickoff to the shopping portion of the show. Because before that, everybody's like mingling and getting wine and eating. And it's hard to sort of transition that to shopping. So I find that this is like, okay, store's open. You can now start shopping. The other thing that I notice is that if people, there's always like that 1 or 2 girls that are like, they don't even care about the wine. They're just like, oh my God, it's sparkly jewelry. And they like come over and they want everything. Some people are like, oh, I know what I want. I'm ready to check out. I will always hold them off and I will say, okay, I'll start your cart, but let's wait until after I do my little presentation, because I think you're going to see something else that you like. And that always happens. Like and I've had instances where I've checked the girl out and done her order before I did my group hello. And then she comes over, she's like, I want the Sutton. Oh my God. After you demonstrated that, like I need that. So I got to cancel the order. So I always tell people like, let's wait, watch the group hello, and then we'll do your order.
Okay, I love it. But then you feel like you really start to make that connection with because what I think is so different and unique about Stella&Dot and how we sell is the fact that we do have an in-person connection with people. So I think it's genius that you are intentionally walking around the table, having intentional conversations, because when you are following up to book and to sponsor these guests at the trunk show, they're going to remember you.
Right.
Because of how the compliment you gave them or how they felt when they were at the trunk show. And they're much more likely to book with you if they have fun at the show that they were invited to as a guest.
Yes, that's 100% true. And that's why I love in-person shows, because all of that is totally lost online. You cannot connect with people that way online. No matter how many videos you do, they don't really know you that way. Yeah.
And when you are able to stand in front of a group and say, hey, my typical hostess is getting over $300 in free product, you have a ton of happy hostesses, Melly, Bonita, who are excited to host with you because they've had fun, they've gotten a ton of free jewelry, they tell their friends about it. So you've kind of created, this desire to be a hostess, which is probably why you're always able, and think about all the people you're meeting. You're meeting 40 new people a month.
Yeah.
Brand new people.
Yeah. And I love my repeat hostesses, but I really strive for new. And I try not to let, too many of my shows be repeats in a month, because I really want to be meeting new people for new bookings and new stylists.
Yeah. So good, you guys. Okay. I know Chelsea's clapping.
The last thing,
tell me.
One last key to the Purple Dot is the day after the trunk show, I send out a thank you email to all of the guests, whether they said yes, no, or maybe. And it goes out to everybody on the Evite. And it's like, thank you all who came to Amy's trunk show last night. We had so much fun. I'll even make a comment like, how cute is her kitchen remodel or something personal. And then I'll say, for those of you who couldn't make it, we missed you so much, so we're sharing the style. Here's a link to shop. If you want to get some stuff, the trunk show's open for a few more days. I never say 2 weeks. And then I add the link, and then I send an email to the hostess with like her summary, like, this is how much I sold last night, but let's get that up. Like, we have 2 weeks to get more orders. So let's try to get at least, I like challenge her to get like 3 more orders online. No matter, even if the trunk show was $2,000, I still want more orders. So I'll send her that link and we'll try to get some more orders. So that, let's say you don't hit Purple Dot that night, you probably still can afterwards.
So fun that you say, we had so much fun, we're sharing the style with you.
Like, missed you, so we're sharing the style.
Yeah, and so it's not the creepy salesperson coming up to you like, hey, you need to shop. You're saying the same thing. You're just saying it in a different way to where it doesn't feel creepy and salesy, but it feels like, oh, hey, I did miss it. Let me go check it out or something.
Right.
So, genius, Melly, Bonita. Genius. You're the bomb, sis. Do you guys see why she sells so much? And I mean, and this goes back to our call yesterday that we had last night with Charlotte. She was talking, every single masterclass call that we've done is that these masters of Stella&Dot all have a system. Melly has a system that she follows with hostess coaching, and then she has a system at her trunk shows. Am I right?
Yeah, systems are sexy, like Danielle says. They are. Like, I think sometimes we're like, oh, it's the same thing over and over. But no, cut and paste actually makes your life really easy. So the other thing I do, and I'm happy to share these templates with you, I keep all of these templates in like a little folder in my email called S&D templates. So like when I book the trunk show and I'm sending her Next step, save the date. It's the same email to every hostess. The only thing that changes is like her name and the link. And then the thank you email is the same. I just add like one personal line and the link. So I save myself a lot of work by not retyping this stuff all the time.
Oh my gosh, Melly, yes. We would love it if you would share this with us.
Yes, I will.
Whenever you get time.
No problem.
Can I hear you?
Yes, can you hear me? Please.
No, now I can't hear. Can y'all hear?
Yes, you can hear. Everybody can. No.
Okay, I'm good now.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? I'm happy to answer questions.
Yes.
Hey, okay, so I know that you said that you would do like, get the 3 orders like after the show. Do you ever challenge the hostess to do 3 orders before the show? Because I remember, I don't know, I think it was like last year, like they were really hitting home with that. Like if you try and get, can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. So they were like, like try and get your hostess to get like 3 orders before the show. That way you're starting off with something, they're excited, whatever. And then you have the show, hopefully you get more, and then you just kind of go, and then you have like the straggler 1 or 2 after the show for people who didn't make it. So do you ever do anything like that to where like, you do a hostess challenge before the show and you like give them a free pair of something?
I don't. I actually don't do that. I know, like, I've heard of people who do that very successfully, and I think it's an awesome idea. I never do that, and I also, my team knows this so well, I do not get in the habit of giving the hostess, like, any gifts or anything like that, because I feel like our hostess rewards are so kick-ass that, like, why should I spend money getting her anything else? Sorry, but that's just what I think. But I do send her, I book my trunk shows like 3 to 4 weeks out sometimes. So once I send her that save the date and she sends it out to people, people have the link. So a lot of times, I would say more often than not, people that can't come to the show shop online before the day of the trunk show. So a lot of times I'm walking into the trunk show and we already have $300 in sales from like online orders that came from sending out the invite early. So I don't do like a planned out challenge before, but I do send her the link to send out to people. So people are shopping online anyway.
Okay. And then, sorry, one more. So what happens if you like book it, I don't know, for like it's Monday and you book it for like that next Saturday?
Yeah.
So how does your process work for that then?
I skip the save the date.
Okay.
I totally skip it. I only do the save the date if it's like 3 or more weeks out. I should have mentioned that earlier. I have a very specific time frame for that too. Like I send out the invitation no more than 2 weeks out. Because if I've planned it like a month ahead, I don't send out the invitation when we book it. I send the invitation 2 weeks out, even 10 days sometimes. Because the closer you are to the event, the more people know what's on their calendar. And a lot of times hostesses are like, well, let me just let my friends know so they can save the date, put it on their calendar. But this Stella&Dot trunk show is something that can easily be moved if like you have something with your kids' hockey game or a parent night or something. So I find that like 2 weeks, 10 to 14 days out, people know what they're doing. And that's when I send out the invitation. So if I book a trunk show like for a week from now, I skip that whole save the date process entirely and I just go straight to the invitation.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from Melly?
Yay, this was fun.
Okay. I'm thinking we'll probably have some more questions when ladies watch the playback. So thank you so much for spending some of your time with us this morning. I miss your face, and hopefully when you get a chance, you can hop on our team page and share either in the comments section. I don't know what the easiest way to share. Whatever you want to do.
I'll just text. There's no pictures, so I'll just put it in the comments.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Melly, so much. This is why you are the master, and we all want to be like you.
Oh, thank you. And sorry for the technical glitches.
You're fine. It happens.
All right, bye.
Bye, y'all.